have so effectively all these years. I appreciate the endorsement. I would love to tell you that that's a slam dunk, that if we don't consider other opportunities, that's exactly what we do. That is not the case. The market is changing, and it's changing rapidly. And the markets do this all over the world. Global energy markets change. And what's happening, and the reason one of our pipelines to Montreal is currently empty and purged with nitrogen, is that a Shell refinery shut down up in Montreal. So customers of ours have shut down in recent years, and we're not needed as much as we were. Therefore, we're only able to utilize one pipeline. We'd like to put both pipelines back in service, and we have to have access to free and open markets to do that. It's not a given that we'll be able to continue to do what we do today. We have to pursue new opportunities for our very valuable assets. And there's a little bit more about the logistics of the company. You've heard us talk about this. We reiterate we're committed to the safety of the community. The protection of our neighbors is a core value, our employees, our contractors, our vendors, and the environment. We're going to see a bit about our awards as well. You see some numbers there that are quite impressive. We'll talk more about those. We work closely with local organizations and outstanding agencies, including the state, federal, local governments, fire departments like South Portland that's trained with us, incredibly valuable resources that we have to make sure we're ready in case there is an event. I'll let you quickly look. This is your employees, your companies, your neighbor that is winning these awards. The U.S. Coast Guard Vendor Award, where we compete against all types of marine industry. The Distinguished Operator Award for all pipeline companies of our size. We've won that award last year, and we've won it before. That's your neighbors who do what we do every day, quietly and very effectively. We do have just a wonderful legacy of safe operations. I'd like for you to meet Ken Brown. Ken, we got to go quick. Ken is our engineering manager, and I'd like for him to share just briefly with you about true characteristics.
Okay, and I'm Ken Brown. I'm the engineering manager of Portland Pipeline. I've been with the pipeline for 15 years, but engineering for over 20. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the nature of the crude oils and the design of the Portland Pipeline system. And starting off with the crude oil types we handle, we've heard how some of the oil sands have been considered to be different. And I just want to point out that the pipeline system we have was designed to handle crude oils of a broad range, and that's because of the marine terminal we have with access to worldwide resources and with customers that had a variety of needs depending on what they were making. Our system can handle crude oils that are from heavy, medium, and light. The full spectrum, we can have a spectrum at the bottom I'll speak to in a second. But we only accept crude oils that meet strict pipeline specifications for the crude oil. And some of the terms that we check are the pumpability. We've talked about viscosity here, how thick the oil is. And our system can take oil that ranges from quite thick to quite thin. We handle crude oils that are more thick than some of the heavier crude oils coming out of Canada. And we have since 1941. We have specifications for how it behaves at temperature, and more specifications for water and sediment content. And again, the water and sediment being removed at the source for any type of crude oil, including that from Canada. Each crude oil is evaluated for its acceptance into the system, and then we test it once it gets here. We check it again to make sure it meets our acceptability requirements. And again, as some of the other speakers have spoken to, the U.S. State Department has confirmed, again, that the characteristics of the crudes from Canada are comparable to those of other crude oil. And again, the crudes we handle of a very broad range. The crude oils from Canada fit within our broad range of crude oils that we handle today and have handled for a long time. On pipeline design, we talked about pipeline design and pipeline pressures. And I just want to point out that the pressures that a pipeline can take are based on the characteristics of the pipe. Portland pipelines that exist today, they've been in place for some time. The pressures that they can take and that they do take and that they would take in the future are based on the nature of the pipe. And I won't go through the equation with you. There is no quiz afterward. It just speaks to the strength of the pipe, the thickness of the pipe, the diameter of the pipe. Those are the things that go into the pipe, the pressures that we operate at. Those things don't change when you have a pipe that exists. Those things don't change when you have a different fluid or a different flow direction. The pipe does not care which direction it's going, and it doesn't care what's in. It's the nature of the pipe. So again, our pressures are what they are. They operate at the same safe pressure. The difference here is that heavy oil, we get, the heavy oil will flow at a slower rate with the same pressure. So when we're moving light oil, we can get a higher rate. When we're moving the heavy oil at a lower rate, the pressure is the same regardless in our system, the same pressure for the pipeline. The operating system we have a computerized control system and 24-hour operators in charge. And those and other protective devices limit the pressures to within the safe range and within the stable range for the pipe operation, so it stays consistent. And we are, as others have said, regulated. We have a broad family of good and capable regulators, including the U.S. DOT, Department of Transportation, U.S. Coast Guard, EPA, and the main DEP, particularly for our operations in our marine terminal here in South Florida, and many, many others. We've heard a little bit about pipeline temperature, and it's in some ways quite the same as the pressure. But first, oil is not heated for pipeline transportation. It's not heated today, it wouldn't be heated in the future. And you can think about that for a second. We have outdoor tanks, above-ground tanks that the oil is stored in outside. Effectively, they tend to equilibrate with the atmospheric temperature. We have pipeline right-of-way that goes through the northern climate here with cool, moist ground. And again, the pipelines are not insulated, so you couldn't effectively heat them. It is what it is. In Portland pipeline system, the oil tends to cool in transit. So we receive the oil from tankers, and once it enters the ground in the pipeline system, it tends to equilibrate with that ground temperature, cooling along the way. So it tends to arrive in Montreal at a cooler temperature than it starts out. And that would be the same. That would be the same in the direction. It would be the same with the crude oil. It's just the nature of our pipelines, and that goes to the diameter of the pipeline and the rate of heat transmission, and also the other operating characteristics of the pipelines. A little bit of history to prepare for tonight. We look back at the last 20, 30 years of operating temperatures because our system's there. We have the data. Our system averages whether we're moving heavy oil, light oil, medium oil, at full capacity or less capacity. Our system averages about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our average operating temperature throughout the year. The range of our operating temperatures is about 40 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. These are pretty much ambient temperature pipeline systems. And again, that includes, regardless of the type of oil, and it's based on the nature of our pipelines. Other people's pipelines may be different, but these are our pipelines, so this is what they would operate in the future as well, regardless of what was put in here. With that, I was going to turn it over to Tom Markson, our Director of
Operations for Portland Montreal Pipeline. Finished 39 years with the company here in June, and my family is 3 generations deep here in South Portland, and a proud graduate, class of 74. So, I just want to quickly follow up with what Ken said. He told you how we design a safe pipeline. I'm going to tell you how we operate a safe pipeline. That's what I do. I'm a pipeline guy. I operate the pipeline. So we have a control center. We have controllers that are highly transforming the pipeline and keep the pipeline from component internally as well as externally. That's why comments about
Jeffrey Soule Phillips reporting for Public Access, Channel 2, Portland.
So we have internal inspection
Monday,
tools called SmartKicks,
March
smartphone
11th,
technology that sends devices through the
2013.
pipeline.
Here at the community center in South Portland.
Magnetism or ultrasound to
Roll
inspect the
2.
pipeline from the inside out and indicate any
Sands.
anomalies that may be in the pipeline well before they get to the point of failure, so we can go out, inspect them, remediate them before they do become failures. We have an extensive inspection, maintenance, and repair and upgrade program. It said it's my job to keep the oil inside the pipes every day, and I have the best equipment and the best people available to do that, and that's why we have such an outstanding performance history, and we will continue to do that moving forward. We have stringent regulations that ensure pipeline integrity and safety. We have a right-of-way maintenance inspection program. We have weekly aerial survey patrols, damage prevention and education. You folks probably see those crazy marks in the road. That's all of the utilities that are buried in the area of a pre-mark and could be affected by excavation. And we're out there, as you can see, marking our system, ensuring that we protect our pipeline from any third-party damages. We train and exercise with first responders, local, state, and federal agencies. We have a great relationship with all the towns in which we operate. And just some examples here you see by the picture here in South Portland. And we also have federal Environmental Protection Agency depicted there as well. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Chris Gillis, and he's going to give you a little bit on community engineering.
We realize that this is an all anti-Portland Montreal pipeline. We're so thankful for that and appreciate you very much considering these 71 years of contributions to the community. And as you'll see, they're not insignificant. $9 million a year annually in local employee wages and contractor payments, $4 million a year that's contributed to the state. We're a large taxpayer. We've been partnering with the city on a number of opportunities, and we've been a pleasure to be a part of many donations to the community. Chris, I apologize for having to do this. We've been an area leader in working waterfront commerce. All of this is subject to our being in business. All of this is subject to our having the opportunity to consider every opportunity out there for companies like ours. And there's some of the contributions to the other communities. So to wrap it up, you've heard us say, and I hope you'll continue to hear us say, we've been upfront and straightforward about this. We don't have an opportunity right now to pursue a reversal project with an oil sands crew in this direction, however we would love to. It'd be our pleasure to consider an opportunity like that because we know we can move heavy, medium, and light crews very safely and very effectively. In fact, as well as anyone in the industry, we can do that with our outstanding assets. We'd love to do it. So we're going to continue to look for those opportunities. We commit to you that we'll come out early, and we'll let you know if we do consider a project like this. We'll communicate with you and all the key stakeholders. We'll secure any permits, comply with every regulation. We have a history of being a great corporate citizen. We're going to continue to be that kind of company, and it'll be our pleasure in hopes of doing this kind of work for years to come. You've heard a lot of information. Here's some great resources. Do I have 60 seconds or am I done? I have 1 minute. Thank you. There's a lot of references here. Please go to our website. You can find the link up to the website to many great sources of information. We're looking forward to the Q&A because we think that'll be an opportunity to answer your specific questions. I hope both sides will have the opportunity to ask their questions, and we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight.